The reason most guys get stuck with pull-ups isn't a lack of effort. Rather, it's pushing too hard with the same stubborn approach. Just trying to do more reps than last time. As a result, progress is brutally slow, and instead of carving a rugged back and jacked arms, you end up with sore elbows. Don't worry though, no matter what stage of your pull-up journey you're at, in today's video I'll show you exactly how to keep progress smooth and your joints happy as you sculpt your upper body with the king of bodyweight exercises. All that without devoting your life on the pull-up bar and training a ton of hours per week. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure you download Bodyweight first, my free beginner's guide. This is the best place to start working on building your foundation to getting naturally jacked and how I got 80% of my best results. So most people grab the bar level with the rest of their body. So I'm so used to not doing this, I can't even demonstrate it. But, you know, by having a grip that is way too level with the rest of your body, you're trying to pull yourself up in a straight line, which is a lot harder than having an overgrip, which allows your center of mass to be, first of all, closer to the bar, but also helps you engage those bigger muscles of the back of the lats and pull yourself up, not just with your arms, but also with your a lot bigger and a lot stronger muscles of the back. By the way, another thing I almost forgot mentioning is that there is no shame in using gloves, especially in the beginning when you're trying to learn to do your first pull-up, especially if the bar is slippery, if you're training outdoors, it's humid, or the bar is too thick. Getting a pair of gloves that helps you have a firmer grip can make the whole process a lot easier. These are work gloves. They cost no more than $2 or so. You know, maybe I buy a new one once every 2 years or so when they break down, but definitely worth the investment. Next, instead of trying to pull yourself straight up, try going up and around in a small arc. This will help you once again engage your stronger back muscles, but it will also create some momentum in order to help you get over that lower sticking point. To do this, push the bar away from you in the beginning, just a little bit while your elbows are still straight, and next, instead of aiming at bringing your chin to the bar, think pulling the bar to your chest. Practice these two tips enough and you'll probably get an extra rep or two within your first week. In order to master any strength exercise, you need two things. Number one, more muscle in the right places, and number two, a better connection of those muscles with your nervous system. You can also think of these like an engine and a driver, your muscles being the engine that provides the raw horsepower, and your nervous system being the driver that determines how effectively you use that power. This is also why smaller guys can often outlift bigger guys simply because they're better drivers of their engine. That being said, how the hell does this apply to pull-ups? Well, your training should be focused at both of these two things, both at upgrading your engine's capacity and getting better at driving that engine. Enough theory and metaphors though, and let's dive right into practice. In order to get your first pull-up, we'll be training 3 times a week on non-consecutive days as following. On day 1, we're working on that engine capacity we talked about previously. Specifically, we'll be doing leg-assisted pull-ups and, depending on your level, focusing on resting your feet as much as possible on the floor. The goal here is getting up to 15 perfect form reps. By the way, training this way at these higher reps also builds joint resilience, protecting you from elbow and shoulder injury once you move to full bodyweight pull-ups. For your next workout, we'll be focusing on both engine horsepower, but also your ability to coordinate that power. So find a band that allows you to do a minimum of 7 perfect form reps and build your way up to 10. Quick side note here, although band-assisted pull-ups mimic the movement pattern of an actual pull-up a lot better, they also reverse the strength curve. This means that they make the first half of the rep feel easier and the second half harder, which is opposite of what a normal pull-up feels like. This is why training both of these is the best way to get your first pull-up as fast as possible. For our third workout, we'll be practicing parts of the pull-up that at the moment are easier done in isolation, starting with the lowering part of a pull-up, aka the negative, which builds control and coordination that also transfers to better performance on the harder going up part. Next, we want to focus on grip strength, which is also a huge part of getting good at pull-ups, but instead of just doing a dead hang, you can also practice scapular pull-ups as you get stronger, which are great, once again, for teaching you how to recruit your stronger and bigger back muscles more effectively and getting better at that push-pull cue I shared with you in the beginning. The key to doing these correctly is keeping your elbows dead straight. Most guys mess this part up, so be very mindful of it. And next, you want to pull your shoulders back and down, noticing your chest rising closer to the bar. Again, these are going to feel hard in the beginning, but a good cue to focus on is touching the bar with your chest without bending your elbows. Once you hit your first pull-up, move to the following 3-day split. At this point, you should be strong enough to progress to DC pull-ups, and to do these, use anything that is 30 centimeters high or more, whether that is a chair, a folding step stool, or whatever you have available. For workout B, repeat the same workout B from level 1, just using a lighter band now that you're stronger. And lastly, our goal for this day is practicing as many perfect form pull-ups as possible using an old Soviet training approach, also known as greasing the groove. Our main focus here is training the nervous system, so if you can only do 1 to 2 reps, stick to singles, or if you can do 3 reps and above, you can either do these in a row with at least 5 minutes of rest in between, or even better, spreading them across your day with even longer resting periods. I recommend practicing these on a Saturday or Sunday when you're off work, and maybe combining them with other activities or chores you have going on, whether you're cleaning your garage, hanging out with your kids at the playground, or whatever it is that you do that keeps you busy during the weekend. Once you reach the point of being able to do 10 pull-ups, simply trying to do more reps often leads to very stubborn plateaus. This is why you want to switch to a smarter and smoother strategy, something I call micro-loading. By the way, training twice a week at this point is enough, unless you want to throw in an extra greasing the groove session. Just make sure that you're taking at least 72 hours of rest between the next 2 sessions. To use the previous example, if you're stuck at 10 pull-ups, this means that you can probably do 4 sets of 6 reps. Or if you're not there yet, you should be very close, so first work on that, and once you're successful, add just 3 pounds on you and focus on performing 3 perfect form sets of 6 weighted reps. Once you succeed at this, which by the way might take anywhere between 1 to 3 workouts, move on to the next progression, which is adding an extra weighted set. Keep repeating this until you can do at least 4 sets weighted with an extra 12 pounds. And once you get there, congratulations, you can now do at least 4 sets of 7 pull-ups, and you've added at least an extra rep, if not 2, to your max pull-ups. To get up to 15 reps, simply repeat the same process, this time starting with 3 sets of 7 pull-ups with an extra 2 pounds, and continue in the same fashion. The most important thing with microloading is not being hasty, since 3 pounds don't feel like a lot in the beginning. But you want to make sure that you don't go faster than that if you want to keep your elbows pain-free, and rather your focus should be on using as perfect form as possible. Alright, so that was all for today. Make sure you don't miss the next video, where we'll be talking more about nutrition and getting naturally jacked. This will appear in the top right corner if you're watching this in the near future. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe and you click on that notification bell. Don't forget to download my free beginner's guide, Bodyweight First, and to check out our new membership program, the Homemade Muscle Academy. Links for all of these below. And until next time, keep on training.